November, that time of year that fall is winding down, nights are colder, and Thanksgiving plans are in the works. November also means that we can focus on some of that Thanksgiving gratitude early toward a very special group of people, our military veterans. We've decided as a country that we'll do that on November 11th. But why that day? Was the holiday always called Veterans Day? And what are some good ways to thank those who served? It's time to put down that Black Friday shopping list and give us a moment to help acknowledge those that have safeguarded our freedoms. Before we start, let's clear up a little confusion that seems to persist around this holiday. Veterans Day is not the same as Memorial Day or Armed Forces Day. The three holidays differ from each other, and it's important to know how. Memorial Day is celebrated annually in May in the United States and is an older observation with a fascinating history. It honors service members who have died while in the military. This includes deaths from combat, training, and accidents. Armed Forces Day is also celebrated annually in May in the United States, and it honors those who are currently serving in the armed forces. Veterans Day honors all who have served in the U.S. military, living or dead. It's also spelled Veterans Day, not Veterans Day, as it doesn't belong to one veteran, but to all who served. Due to the unprecedented scale of World War I, it was originally called the Great War. It ended officially when the Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1919, outside the town of Versailles, France. What you might not know, though, is that the fighting actually ended 7 months earlier. An armistice, aka a temporary stop to the fighting, occurred between the Allied nations and Germany. It went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. As such, in November 1919, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day, with the following words: "To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nations." The original plans for how the holiday was to be observed were parades, public meetings, and a brief suspension of business beginning at 11 a.m. Many believed the government needed to do more, so 7 years later, Congress passed a resolution on June 4, 1926, for an annual observance. Then a congressional act was approved on May 13, 1938, that the 11th November of each year was a federal legal holiday, a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. There was a hopefulness around the establishment of the holiday that those who served could enjoy a lasting peace and rest from ever having to experience a war of that magnitude again. Americans were encouraged to celebrate with prayer, peacemaking activities, flying the American flag, as well as honoring veterans with parades. That lasting peace was broken, of course, by World War II. By the end of the war in 1945, there were 16.4 million American World War II vets. Raymond Weeks, a World War II veteran, thought there should be a national holiday to honor all war veterans, living and dead, on Armistice Day. Weeks led a delegation to General Dwight Eisenhower, who supported the idea of National Veterans Day. Weeks led the first national celebration of his idea in 1947 and every year till he died in 1985. Weeks is considered the father of Veterans Day. After the Korean War ended, America added 1.5 million new veterans. A little less than a year later, in May of 1954, due to the work of Weeks and the urging of veterans organizations, the 83rd Congress amended the Act of 1938, changing the word armistice to veterans. November 11th officially became a day to honor American veterans of all wars. Things with the holiday got a little weird for a time between 1968 and 1978, when Veterans Day got lumped in with other Monday holidays like Columbus Day and Washington's birthday. Americans, especially veterans groups, fully rejected the change to Veterans Day, so President Ford put the annual observance of Veterans Day back to the original date of November 11th beginning in 1978. Other countries involved in both World Wars honor their veterans around the same time as the United States, paying respects to their veterans. The UK and Canada call the Day of Honor Remembrance Day. In Europe, Great Britain, and the Commonwealth countries, it's common to observe 2 minutes of silence at 11 a.m. every November 11th. As you think of this holiday, here are a few statistics to bear in mind from the U.S. Census. There are 15.8 million veterans in the United States, making up 6.1% of the civilian population over the age of 18. 1.7 million of those veterans are women, 0.6% served in World War II, 3.5% served in Korea, 33% served in Vietnam, 24.8% served in the Persian Gulf, and 28% served September 2001 to present. 22 veterans commit suicide daily, with one occurring roughly every 80 minutes. The number is higher for special forces. 30% of veterans have disabilities as a result of their service. 13 to 20% are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. The VA says about 30% of people who served in combat are dealing with PTS. 81,000 total vets are missing from past conflicts, with the highest percentage from World War II. Veterans Day is celebrated across the United States with a variety of events. Each year on November 11th at 11 a.m., there is a Veterans Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery, where the President lays a wreath at the tomb of the unknowns and continues inside the Memorial Amphitheater with a parade of colors by veterans organizations and remarks from dignitaries. This can be watched live. In addition to the wreath laying at Arlington National Cemetery, several other major National Veterans Day ceremonies take place in Washington, D.C., at the National World War II Memorial, the U.S. Navy Memorial, and the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Communities, large and small, across the United States host their own parades, ceremonies, speeches, wreath-laying events, concerts, and military displays. Organizations, including schools, often hold programs featuring veterans as guest speakers. If you are unable to observe the holiday in any of the ways we covered, the federal government recommends 2 minutes of silence can be observed at 2:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or, if you want to be old school, you can observe 2 minutes of silence at 11 a.m. instead. Though the holiday has changed names and expanded its scope over the years, its impact has only increased. In Proclamation 3071 for Veterans Day in 1954, Dwight D. Eisenhower said, "On that day, let us solemnly remember the sacrifices of all those who fought so valiantly, on the seas, in the air, and on foreign shores, to preserve our heritage of freedom, and let us reconsecrate ourselves to the task of promoting an enduring peace, so that efforts shall not have been in vain." We hope you found this information interesting. Now that you have knowledge and tools, we hope that you show gratitude for our veterans some way this year and commit to promoting an enduring peace.